Solar flash third wave hits Earth today, March 30th, and tomorrow the 31st. This last storm, as we said, has been the strongest in the last 6 years. So this one may be even stronger, but there's more on the way because we are in a phase called the solar maximum, where the poles of the sun shift, and when that happens, there's a lot of intense solar activity that's coming. So I've been surfing my brains out, so that balances me out quite a lot. So even though I do feel energy, and on a daily basis I'm getting interdimensional, higher dimensional energy into my body, I can't say, I'm not a good source for whether or not people are feeling it, but a lot of people are feeling a lot of energy. So when exactly is this new blast of energy going to hit? It could be hitting the Earth as we speak, but by Friday night, it's already being forecast that there might be more of these northern lights, much further south than normal. We'll see. We'll see what this solar flash, or this solar event does for us this time around. So I'm very relaxed. I'm very calm. So if I sound like I'm stoned, it's just I'm very relaxed. But I just want to share again some of the experiences that I've had since the first solar wave hit, which I believe was the 23rd. And I'm still feeling the effects of that. I'm seeing some shifts in my body. My body is changing. I mean, my physical body I can feel my body becoming healthier and younger. I mean, I still look the same. It's not like who knows what'll happen, but I still look my age, but in terms of my athletic abilities I'm doing stuff that I haven't been able to do since I was, in my 30s, in terms of, surfing every day, 2 hours a day, just surfing like mad, and not having to take days off or get a bunch of massages. I haven't needed to do any of that, which is something I wasn't even able to do back in my 30s. I had to take if I surfed 2 days in a row, I had to take a couple days off. But emotionally, I'm able to process things much more quickly, and things bounce off of me. I do have a lot of intense emotions. That hasn't changed. I still have my same emotional range. I'm having a lot of old things come to the surface, but we'll see. I'm still human, but there's definitely some shift going on. So what I want to share with you today that you can look forward to as these solar waves continue to hit the Earth is to understand that you are going to have a greater experience of your true, authentic, eternal self. And what I mean by that is that your human self is really just a tiny little avatar in a completely infinite lifespan. This universe is filled with soul energy. Everything has it. Rocks, trees, plants, animals, stars, planets, moons, everything in the entire created multiverse is filled with soul energy. That's why the oldest religions on the planet are always shamanic religions. And shamanic religions are religions where the priest, their job is to interact and communicate with everything. Communicate with the earth, communicate with the gods, communicate with the spirits, communicate with the animals, communicate if people are sick, to be able to communicate to their soul and their energy. This is the original priesthood, both men and women, is the ability to communicate with all things. And this is coming for everybody. And one of the things that you will experience as we continue to go more deeply into this shift is that you will experience how special you are, how amazing and powerful you are. You will be able to access your true, authentic identity, which is not this person that you see when you look in the mirror. This is, again, just the tip of the very tiniest microscopic tip of the spear. As you pull back and go farther and farther into higher dimensions, you expand. So I want you to think about who you think you are. First off, the person that you think you are is something that you can change. You can become completely different than what you are. That is a process that involves you learning how to no longer identify with your programming, no longer identify to your reactions to your programming, no longer reacting to your thoughts, no longer reacting to your feelings. Bear in mind, I'm not saying don't have your thoughts and feelings. You have to be conscious of them. And as Jung said, I'm butchering this as I paraphrase it, but he said something to the effect of, you must become conscious of what is unconscious. Otherwise, it will control you and you will think it is God. He said something like that. But basically, that's every single one of us, to the extent that we have victim mentality. You believe you live in a cold, cruel universe. That is your response based on your programming to some kind of stimulus that has hit you. Life has stimulated you in some way. And depending on your identity will determine how you choose to respond. You run into issues and problems, and if you say, they're all out to get me, it's unfair, then you have been programmed to respond from a negative, fear-based victim mentality. If you run into issues and your response is, that's great, I'm just one step closer to achieving my goal, you could have two people having the exact same stimulus, and they respond based on their programming. And then what's important about that is the actions that you take. So your actions define your identity. It's that simple. You don't have to feel loving to act loving. This is one of the pitfalls of psychotherapy, especially dealing with severely mentally ill people, like people with narcissistic personality disorder or borderline personality disorder, or even addiction for that matter, is that when let's say you give somebody the diagnosis of you have borderline personality disorder, let's say. You give somebody that diagnosis. Well, then that makes them think that they can't change their actions. Because what they'll then continue to find out is that the actions that they're taking, which are incredibly destructive, are based on their intense feelings. And their intense negative feelings are based on the programming they received, the very, usually very abusive programming they received, but they don't know that they don't have to act on their feelings. They don't know that. Their feelings are so intense, they believe they must take action on them, and they destroy relationships and are abusive to other people. But if you identify with your actions instead of your feelings, you have all of your feelings and you want to act out negatively towards yourself or towards somebody else, you know what the conscious constructive, loving thing to do is, when you take that action, that actually creates your identity. So you can change your identity in the third dimension. But what will be really amazing is when you become aware of your identity in higher dimensions. Because in higher dimensions, you won't have those negative feelings. You won't have that feeling of separation. You won't have those feelings of victimization, which make you feel like you have to act destructively, whether that's watch video games all day or watch porn all day or take drugs or whatever it is that you do that's self-destructive, eat gallons of ice cream all day, whatever the heck it is. Those actions are based on you reacting to a feeling that is itself a response to your perceived identity. When you get into higher dimensions, you no longer have that feeling of isolation. And so you operate from a place of infinity. And you will find out that you are much, much, much more than you can possibly comprehend. You are much more powerful. You are much more beautiful. You are much more loving. You are much more amazing. In fact, if you were to see just your fifth dimensional self, you would see yourself as a God. Your third dimensional self would see you as an infinite God, and you would want to get on your knees and worship yourself. But that's only because only so much of that can fit in this vibration of the third dimension. So as we go through these waves, our ability to expand into a higher expression as we move towards 5D, whatever that's going to look like, means that you get to change your behavior. So one of the things I'm experiencing as I'm doing my interdimensional meditation is I'm experiencing myself in higher dimensions, which is far more amazing and powerful than I perceive myself in 3D. But every time I go into interdimensional meditation and I interact with that part of myself, I bring more and more, I download more and more of that higher dimensional self. And not only does it make me comfortable and happy, I feel a connection to everything. I no longer feel isolated. I no longer have any doubt whatsoever about life after death. I understand that all the people in my life are just one little snapshot, an avatar in the third dimension. I know that my parents weren't always my parents. My mother was my daughter in a previous life. My father was a friend of mine in a previous life. And we take on these different roles when we come down into 3D. And when you do more and more of this interdimensional meditation, and when you incorporate more and more of this solar flash, solar wave energy, you expand into your more authentic self. So everybody's having different responses based on where they're at in this process. If you are attached to your programming, this higher dimensional energy may make you feel uncomfortable. You might feel a lot of anxiety. You might feel sadness because your unconscious will realize that you're losing your connection to your third dimensional self, and that is a sad thing. You're dying to your third dimensional self, and that is sad. If you've done a lot of spiritual work, you will find this to be very blissful. You might have both. I've had both. Very blissful experiences, and I've had also some challenging emotions come up. But whatever your emotional response is, it is your spirit expanding into taking more prominence. Your soul will take more prominence in your daily life and in your identity of who you are. And eventually, when we get to this higher dimensional state, I don't know how long that's going to take. But when we get to that, my belief is, if my experience is any indication, you will have direct access to higher dimensional energies. You will have direct access to your spirit guides. You will be able to consciously communicate with them whenever you want. They will communicate with you throughout the day on a conscious level. You'll have access to higher dimensional energies, which will shift your body. I believe that our DNA is being, new DNA switches are being turned on as a result of this energy. The less that you fight the energy, the faster the positive shift will come. I believe that it'll be normal for everybody to be able to communicate with loved ones that have passed away. They will no longer be just somebody who died and we don't remember. You'll be able to communicate with their soul and know what their journey is. I believe that you'll be able to know when, let's say, your grandparents, after they've passed away, you'll be in communication with them, and you'll know when they've come back to Earth and reincarnated. These are all things that have been happening for me. And there's more to come for sure. But anyway, it looks like this wave that I believe is hitting the Earth now is going to last for another day. And what will happen before we start seeing these kinds of northern lights show up? Before long, what will happen is the solar plasma or energy or whatever it is, it gets in the magnetosphere and it goes past the Earth, and then it comes around and then it comes back onto the Earth. And that's when you see this. When you see the energy come back and hit the Earth again, that's when you feel it some more and you see these kinds of things, the northern lights. So all of the stuff on this channel is here to help you accomplish whatever you need. Thunderwizard.com, you can go there and subscribe to the Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong, which is the most powerful meditative energy practice in the history of the planet. And if you do that, you will be proactively switching on things in your energy and making yourself more available to this energy, and the shift will come more quickly and more easily for you. We also have the interdimensional meditation course, which if you subscribe to the Warrior 90-Day Challenge, you will have access to that as well. Courses.thunderwizard.com, all of the things that I offer, make available to you, you can find there. I have my books, which you can find at audiobooks.thunderwizard.com. If you don't live in the United States, you'll see a link up at the top asking if you want the US site. Click to go to the US site, and then you'll see all of my books there. I recommend audiobooks because you get me reading it, so you really get an idea of my feeling as I emphasize, what I want to emphasize in the book. One of the newest books is Interdimensional Revolution and Extraterrestrials Are Coming to Earth. Both of those books are, they should be textbooks. Now I'm looking back 9 months later. These are textbooks on what is happening and what was really happening to us in this shift. And I have going on all the time the Huar mantra. You should be listening to that. You can be playing that in the background while you're doing everyday stuff. You can listen to it while you meditate or go to sleep. You can chant along. That will help you. That mantra was given to me by a being of light, and it will help you not only go through the shift, but you'll also be calling solar energy into Mother Earth to help her expand, and you will be empowering her crystalline communication grid with the entire cosmos. And of course, she will love you for that. She already loves you, but she'll appreciate that. So that's it. More stuff is to come. Keep your eyes peeled, and everybody should be doing some kind of work. You should be doing some kind of meditation. I think the best stuff is the subscription stuff, the Warrior 90-Day Challenge, the Maoshan. But there's plenty of free stuff If you go onto the channel playlist, you can find all kinds of meditations. The Hool breath is out there for everybody to see. All kinds of other things are available for everybody. So I recommend that you get your hands on that and do something on a daily basis. And keep checking in. My internet isn't so good, so I may not be doing live streams, and I just found that there's some major damage to the roof of this house, so I don't know what the owners are going to do. I might have to up and move again, who knows. But I may not be doing a lot of live streams until I get some better internet. But I will continue to make these uploads and keep the Huar mantra going 24/7. That's it for me, guys. I wish you all the best. And if you have a question about anything, feel free to put the question in the comments section of any of the videos. And if I like your question, I'll make a video about it. That's it. Enjoy this shift. This is shift number 2 of the solar wave event. Enjoy it. Also, watch what's happening in the world. Donald Trump just got indicted. If you don't think that's going to cause some, who knows what that'll do. But we're in for some very interesting times. There's still, some tension between the United States and Iran. There's still protests in the street of France, and the protests in Israel and Kenya. So people are waking up and they're fighting back against the deep state. So I think this is going to continue. So strap yourself in, and meditation is the best way to keep yourself grounded throughout all of this. All right, I'll see you guys very soon. Take care. Oh, one last thing before I go, I forgot to mention it. I am doing where did it go? 6-phase Ascension apprenticeship program. This is when you work with me once a month, and I take you through the 6 phases of Ascension that I've been going through. I've made some videos on that. You can watch those. But if you want to have just a short-term apprenticeship with me to allow you the ability to make these shifts, I encourage you to go to thunderwizard.com and subscribe to the 6-month Ascension apprenticeship program. If you don't like it, you can unsubscribe. You're not paying for the whole 6 months. You're just paying 1 month at a time. You don't like it, unsubscribe. Same is true with that. You don't like it, unsubscribe. You're not committing yourself to anything for life. So that's it. I wish you guys all the best, and I'll see you all very soon. Take care.